All right, hello everyone again. Good morning. I'm again your teacher for today, Teacher Shelly, for our Maritime English lesson, week 29th, day 2 of our Maritime English. All right. So for today, our lesson is all about the extended version about the safety. Okay. Um, in this topic, I focused more about it because it's really important. Okay. Now, since this is an extension or an extended discussion, I will show you more about visual aids. All right. About this means these are all examples, more series of examples. All right. So let's begin. What do you mean? What do we mean by visual aids? Okay. Here, these are items. Now, this one, the visual aids. These are items of illustrative matter. Now, like for example, the film, the slides, PowerPoints, sometimes videos or models designed to supplement, okay, to supplement matters or written examples or spoken informations like what I'm doing now. Okay. uh, I'm discussing about the safety to be understood more easily, and these signaling devices are equipments. Okay, it's an equipment. Now, and then here we have here an example of a parachute flares. Yes, a rocket parachute flares. Now, what do we mean by this? Okay, this is an equipment or a device which launches, okay, a bright red flare, okay, high up in the sky, okay, and this is used for long distance distress signal, long range, meaning it's wider, okay, it's wider range, okay. Now, so you're thinking of what is the rocket parachute flares look like? Okay, here. This is an example of a rocket parachute flares. This one. This image of a flare that is being launched. Okay? So, this crew here is holding this long light gun type. Okay? Now, when this crew launches this flare, it will be look like this. Okay? This is what this is what a bright red flare high into the sky means. Okay? So, when you launch this rocket parachute flares, it will look like this. Okay? Now, long range. Okay? Now, this one is an example of a hand holding flare gun. Handheld. Okay? It looks like a short gun. Okay? So, meaning you can use this one by holding only with your one hand. But this one, you can see here, the crew is holding the rocket parachute flares both hands. Okay? This one ranges only from a short distance, while this one by a long distance range. Okay? Next. Oh yeah. We have here the second equipment for safety and emergency cases, the hand flares. Hand flares. Okay. When we say hand flares, it's used for short range signaling only. Short. But still, it emits red, bright color light. Okay? Now, the purpose of this hand flares is that you use it to pinpoint location to the rescuers. Okay? You use hand flares. Okay? In order for the other vessels or for the rescuers or for the sharp points, you use hand flares for them to send rescue or send help. Okay? Next. Yes, this is again an example of a hand flares. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay, a handheld red light for short range signaling. This one, handheld flares. Okay, next. Yes, the third equipment is the buoyant smoke signals. Okay, this buoyant smoke signals is used during daytime distress signal to mark your position. Okay, again, it emits bright orange smoke on water. Again, this third type of equipment is what we call buoyant smoke signals, used during daytime distress signal to mark your position or where the vessel is. Okay? Now, it releases or it emits bright orange smoke on water. Okay, to give you visual aids for that, it looks like this. There's an orange smoke, okay? Signals deploying on the water surface during daytime. So that the rescuers will pinpoint or will mark where is your location. Okay? That is buoyant, this one. smoke signals. Okay, daytime, to locate your position when calling for distress. Alright? Okay, let's go to number 4. We have here appears. I'm sure you already heard about appears. Yes, this appears meaning emergency, position, indicating radio beacons. Again, emergency, position, indicating radio beacons. Appears. Okay. This appears is um what do you call this? It transmits. Okay, it relays distress signal via satellite. Okay? Now, it also provides exact location. Okay? For the rescuers to know where they are going to give help. Okay? Now, appears again transmits signals via satellite. Okay. To know where is your location. Okay. This is, excuse me, an example of an appears. Okay, here also. Once, excuse me, use the appears, okay, it releases signals via satellite. Okay? Yes. Next, we have the 5th one. Excuse me. The SARTs. Search and rescue transponders. Again, search and rescue transponders. Alright. SARTs are radars. Signals. Radar signals. Yes. It responds to radar signals from rescuers. Alright? And it helps again pinpoint survival craft. Okay? The SARTs. This one, okay, once used, okay, they reply once they see you through the radar. Okay, it looks like this. SARTs. Assuming this is the vessel. Okay? Yeah. Actually, it's not assuming. This is the vessel. It uses a SARTs, search and rescue transponders. And it could reach for about 50 miles. Okay? The SARTs. Okay. So next, we have the 6th equipment used for safety and calling a distress situation. Another is a two-way VHF, radio telephone sets. Okay, that's our 6th equipment. The two-way VHF. I'm sure you know this. Okay, now This is a portable radios. Okay. Of course, when we use the radio, this is for communication purposes. But when you set the two-way VHF radio to channel 16, meaning once you use that radio, you are automatically calling for a distress call. Okay? And this two-way VHF radio sets is essential or important. Of course, for coordinating purposes or coordinating efforts. Okay? I'll show you what is a two-way radio. This one is the two-way VHF, radio telephone sets. Here in the picture, it shows channel 16. Okay? The distress channel for radios. Okay? Channel 16. So meaning when you say two-way, of course, there's one and two. If this is the one in the vessel, the other one is on the other ports or rescue positions or other vessels who's near the location. Okay? That's why it's called a two-way VHF. All the vessels have this. All. Alright. So that's the number 6 equipment. And lastly, the 7th equipment, which is the signaling mirror and whistle. Okay, this is the simplest equipment. Okay, but it is effective signaling tool. Okay, the mirror and the whistle. These two, the mirror and the whistle, have or is included in our personal life jackets. And not just for the life jackets, you also have that in the lifeboats, in the life craft, in the rescue boats. Okay, this is included, the signaling mirror and the whistle. Okay, but this is a very simple tool, but it's effective. Yes, this one. This one is the signaling mirror and the whistle. Yes, you can also see this one in your life jacket. Signaling mirror, once you directly focus that one, okay, during daytime, it emits light. Okay, now so the 7 equipments, like you have the rocket parachute flares for long range distance, you have the hand flares for short range distance, you have the buoyant smoke signals that emits orange color, remember, during daytime use for daytime distress signal. You have the EPIRBs, okay, which is used via satellite, okay, And you have the SARTs, the fifth one. It uses through the radar signals. You have the two-way VHF radio, and the most simple way of equipment is the signaling, mirror, and whistle. All right. Now, we also have here other essential equipment and systems. When we say that, we have to know, okay? We have to know how they are launched, how they are used, okay? How they are used during embarkation, okay? This equipment. Okay. For launching and embarkation appliances, when we say launching, we use Davids. Okay? When you say Davids, this is any of the various crane-like devices. All right? And these Davids are used on a ship, of course. For one is for support, of course. Okay? And also for racing, no? Racing the lifeboats or the life raft. Okay? And also used for lowering equipment, no? Like the boats and the anchors. Yeah. We use davits. And sometimes we use cranes. And sometimes we use drums. Okay? This one. And of course, the reason why, to make sure to have a safe and a quick, a fast deployment of the craft. Okay? Now, yes, this one. It says here that David's lowering a lifeboat. As I said, David's, this one, like a crane. Okay? Now, all the attachments here should be functioning. Alright? And it should be checked properly. It should be checked. It should always be checked if possible damage in this pulley light. Okay? Possible kinks and corrosion. Okay? It should be well lubricated. The wires and the sheaves. And also it should be functioning of limit switches. There should be no misalignment. There should be no deformation, or there should be no excessive free play or loose. It should not be loose. Okay? Or the hydraulic system should be functioning well. Okay? And it should be yearly or annually inspected, or okay, and it should be what you call this, it should be launched, okay, yearly or annually, so that when emergency cases arrives, no, if this is well maintained, everything here, this one, there will be no problem encounter. Okay? That's the reason why it should be checked. It should always be checked by the third officer. Okay? That is one of his duty, to check everything. All safety equipment should be checked by him. Okay? Could you just imagine, everyone, no? If there's emergency cases and you are going to use this lifeboat and there will be malfunctioning of this one, how can you launch this lifeboat properly? And to think it's an emergency case, right? So, this should always be checked. Everything here. The one that is responsible for the lifeboat. All this. Well maintained. It should be free from kinks and corrosion. It should be well lubricated. There should be no excessive free play. Okay, there should be no misalignment and deformation. Okay, next. Yes, this one is the crane. All of this should be well maintained. That is a part of the crew's duty, to keep the maintenance of this in proper way. Alright? Because during emergency cases, it should be functioning well. And also, this is the ramp. Yes, the ramp. This is, of course, like our stairs in our house. Alright, this is the ramp. It should be also not misaligned, no deformation, free of kinks and corrosion, well maintained. Supposed to be. It should be well maintained. Alright. Next. The first topic about other system is the marine evacuation systems, or they call it the MES. Again, marine evacuation systems. Alright. This one, the MES, is the rapid, the fast, controlled evacuation way for large groups, meaning 10 to 20 crew or passengers. The fastest, it should be the fast but controlled evacuation. Okay? Now, chutes, the parachutes, or slides. Okay? Leading to life rafts. Okay? When we say marine evacuation system, this is the one. The rapid way, the fastest way of evacuating large group. Slides leading to life rafts. This one. Okay? This is the life raft. Once inflated, it looks like this. Here. Fastest, because could you just think of, you just have to slide from the vessel down to the life raft. Alright? Used for large groups. Okay? Maybe more than 20 can accommodate it here. Okay? So, This is the Marine Evacuation System, or the MES. The persons just have to slide in here, go into the life raft. Once inflated, it looks like this. Okay? Next. We have also line throwing appliances. Again, line throwing appliances. This is used to project a line to another vessel or a person. Okay. It aids in rescue or towing. All right. Let's see here. Yes. Here, the crew is operating a line throwing gun. This is the line. Okay? Once released, or once this crew click or triggers this, there is a line that is released here. All right? Aids in rescue or towing. All right? Used to project a line to another vessel or to a person. Okay? Once you use this one, meaning it's either you're asking for help or like towing purposes. All right? Line throwing appliances. All right. Next. The General Emergency Alarm System. Okay. This is a ship-wide alarm, meaning inside the vessel or the ship, everyone can hear this emergency alarm. All right? By the name itself, general, the whole ship, emergency alarm system, everybody can hear this one. That you are calling for a ship-wide alarm for emergencies. Meaning, once you hear this, you go directly to the muster station. All the crew, all the passengers should go directly to muster stations once you heard this general emergency alarm. Okay? Yes. Okay, this one is the ship's emergency alarm unit. All right. These are examples of the alarm or the sound of a general emergency alarm. Okay, we have here, once you heard a continuous ringing, okay, the sound is not interrupted, continues, meaning there's a fire. All right? Once you heard a 3 long ring, 3, 1, 2, 3 rings, meaning There's a man overboard. There's a man here in the water. Okay? Once you heard 1, 2, 3 long rings, there is a man overboard. Alright. Next, once you heard a verbal order, somebody announces using the general alarm, or if there is a call for general alarm, meaning you have to abandon the ship. Okay? If the captain will announce a verbal order, everyone should listen carefully. What is the person saying? If you heard the general alarm, you go directly to the muster station and do what is said. The verbal order, like for example, if the captain will announce abandon ship, abandon ship, abandon ship, well, of course, you have to do that. You wear all necessary life-saving devices or equipment, life vest, or do whatever the verbal order is announced. All right? So, it says here, a distinguished sound alarm or the CO2 alarm, carbon dioxide alarm. It flashes or it goes like this. So again, this is very important. The general emergency alarm system. This one. Okay. Whatever you do, once you heard a general emergency alarm, go directly to the muster station and listen. Be attentive. What is the announcement? Okay? Next. The fourth one is the emergency lighting. Okay. When we say emergency lighting, of course, by the word itself, light, it illuminates. Okay? It shows, okay, escape routes or routes, and exists during power loss. Yes. And it is battery-backed system. Alright. Once you lose power, alright, like there's no light. Okay? It's simple. There's no light inside the vessel. This emergency lighting, um, this emergency lighting illuminates. Okay? Right away. This one. For example also, there's an emergency. Alright. Here, you can see this everywhere. In the building, you can see this. In the mall, right? You can see this. In the public transportation, inside the buses, there's like this, emergency exit sign. In the aircraft, there's an emergency exit sign. Okay, where else? This is illuminated. Okay, once light is focused in here, or even if it's not focused, okay, it is an exit emergency sign. Okay, emergency lighting. It illuminates escape routes. or where we're going once there's an emergency, right? Here. Okay. Another, for the fifth category, is emergency, escape, breathing devices. Emergency, escape, breathing devices. EEBDs. Alright. These are short duration breathing apparatus. Okay, short period. It allows safe passage. Alright. Through a smoke or in a toxic area. Okay. This is an example of an EEBDs. This one. Meaning here, excuse me, you have to wear EEBDs in the engine area. You can see this one, right? Meaning, you have to wear this one because this is for the protection of the person passing through a smoke or there's a toxic, hazardous smoke that you will inhale. Okay? That is why you have to wear this one. The emergency escape breathing devices. This one. This one. Or for example, there is a smoke or fire, okay, in the area. And you need to have a rescue inside. We're talking about the inside the vessel. You have to use this one. Okay? Short duration only. Alright. Next, of course, we have to have the sixth equipment, special equipment, which is the first aid kits and medical equipment. Wherever we go, alright, remember this, everyone. Wherever we go, we have to have a first aid kits. Whether we go to a travel, either if it is a land base, whether by car, alright, whether by aircraft, whether we're going on board, alright, inside the building, alright, there's, even in our house, okay, we have to have a first aid kits, alright, and if you have extra, you have to have a medical equipment also. But we're talking about the vessel, you have to have this one. Even inside your cabin or cabins, you have to have this. Okay. Yes, it is essential, important for immediate medical care. For example, in the galley, you were like for example for the chef, okay, in the galley, you have to have a first aid kit because he doesn't know what will happen on that particular time. Maybe you were just slicing something, no, and then it happens to the knife slips, okay, in your finger. Okay, and then you were in, of course, it happens it happens to have a minor accident. You have to have this. All right. Now, for immediate medical care. Yes, it says here it ranges from basic kits to more extensive medical base. Yes. Yes. Inside the vessel or inside the you have you have an area in the vessel that the second officer is responsible for all the first aid kits and medical equipments, right? It's the duty of the second officer. He is the medical officer on board, right? Alright, okay. He has to be familiarized with this one. What's in here? The first aid kits. Okay? The basic. And in your clinic inside the ship, there are more extensive medical equipments there. Okay? So that's one. Okay. So as discussed, what can we benefit from that for all the safety equipments, okay, that we discussed? Of course, the preparedness is the key, okay? That's the reason why the master of the ship or the captain always conduct drill, different drills. There is firefighting drill, right? Always. And almost, or not all, but it should be what they call this? It should be conducted always, the drill. The, there should be education on board because that is the key, the preparedness of all the crew, and they will pass it on to the passengers on board. All right, now next. So it says here, preparedness is the key. Yes, regular drills and the maintenance are crucial. Yes, that's correct. If you conduct, or if the master or the captain conducts a regular drills, of course, the crew are familiarized with it. Wherever, whatever drill he will conduct, like firefighting drill, right? The lifeboat, the launching of the lifeboats, lifecraft, and other equipments, the maintenance of that is very important, are crucial. Secondly, the crew training, okay, ensures, of course, effective use. Because once you are familiarized with what you are doing, like for example, if the master or the captain conducts it monthly, okay, monthly, every month, how can you forget the drills, right? So, the crew training ensures effective use. You know how to don your the immersion suits. You know where to get the fire hose. You know what to wear during fire, right? So you know what to do if there is a time for launching the lifeboats. So effective use of the equipments are important. Okay, the third, adherence to regulations saves life. Yes, it's true. Familiarization of the regulations, okay, saves life. Like for example, you know how to do the CPR, the cardiopulmonary resuscitation, right? The first aid regulations, it saves lives. That's why it says that preparedness is the key. All right, the knowledge plus the actual drill, all right, and how you apply it, it saves lives. All right, so next, this one. A diverse group of crew members. There you go. They are the ones participating in a safety drill. Yes, they have their life jackets or a stylized image, okay, representing them safety and readiness. See, as you can see here, yes. So again, preparedness is the key during safety measures because it saves lives. Okay. Excuse me. Again here, the firefighting drill. Okay? Firefighting drill. They are all wearing, excuse me, they're all wearing protective suits here. They have the helmets, the excuse me, the emergency escape breathing devices, right? Here, man overboard training. Rescuing how? The man overboard, right? You have to have a training for this, and it should be done monthly. The firefighting also. All right. So let's go to question and answer portion. All right. So that we can recall what we have discussed. Okay. So we have here the equipment again. We have the rocket parachute flares. Second, the hand flares for short range. The third one is the buoyant smoke signals for daytime distress signal. And then we have the EPIRBs, which is used via satellite. We have the SARS, wherein we use radars here. Signals, we have the two-way VHF, radios. We have the last is the signaling mirror and the whistle. And we also have for special equipments like the marine evacuation system. right? We have the line throwing appliances. We have this general emergency alarm system. And then the fourth one, we have the emergency lighting. Uh, and then the fifth, we have this emergency escape breathing device. And the last one that we discussed was the first aid kits and medical equipments. Alright. So, let's go to our questions. Okay, of course with answers. Alright. So, okay, question number 1. What is the primary purpose of a signaling mirror and the whistle for distress situations at sea? Is it A, to determine your exact location using satellite signals? B, to attract the attention of passing ships or aircraft using reflected sunlight and sound? Okay, C, to provide light for nighttime rescue? Or D, to communicate with other crew members on the ship? So, let's find out. It's letter B. That is the primary purpose of using a signaling mirror and the whistle. Of course, to attract the attention of passing ships or an aircraft using reflected sunlight and sound. Okay, now this signaling mirror, okay, it reflects sunlight. Yes, over a long distance. All right. And this whistle provides an audible signal, okay, to attract the attention from, of course, potential rescuers. Okay? You can, once they can hear that sound of the whistle, it's automatically means someone needs help. Okay? That's the purpose of signaling mirror and whistle. Alright? Alright, let's go to number 2. Okay. Which of the following is an example of an essential piece of equipment for short-range signaling on a ship? Short. Is it A, navigational radar? B, satellite phone? C, handheld red light or flare? And D, the EPIRB, the emergency position indicating radio beacon. So, remember, I mentioned several times the equipment used for short range signaling on a ship. It's letter C. It's the hand-held red light or flame. Isn't it? Can you recall the gun-like flare? Yes, that's the handheld red light flare. Alright, next for number 3. What is the main function of an EPIRB? Yes, what is the main function of EPIRB? Is it A, to broadcast the ship's position, to search and rescue authorities via satellite, or B, to automatically lower a life raft into the water, C, to create a visual signal using orange smoke, or D, to provide a loud, audible alarm for nearby vessels. So which one is the correct answer? A, B, C, or D? Okay, let's find out. It's, yes, it's letter A. That is the main function of a peer. Remember, I mentioned that you have to broadcast the news via satellite. Yes, that is the main function of a peer. Okay? Because a peer is a crucial piece of equipment that when activated, okay, it transmits a distress signal with the vessel's location or position to a satellite system, which in return, it alerts the rescuers, okay, to coordinate with the uh, shore centers. All right? That is the main function of a pier. All right. Number four. Okay. What is the purpose of a SART? Okay. What is the purpose of a SART? The Search and Rescue Transponder. Is it A, to assist search and rescue radar by producing a series of blips on their screen? B, to provide emergency power for the ship's navigation systems? C, to provide a loud alarm when submerged in water? And D, to send a distress message via satellite? Of course, it's not. Right? We just discussed this for number 3. All right. So, let's find out what is the purpose of SART. It's letter A, to assist search and rescue radar by producing a series of blips on their screen. Because a SART, when activated, okay, when used, it responds to radar. It responds to radar signals. Okay? From search and rescue vessels. Or sometimes aircraft, no, by transmitting a series of unique signals, then back to the radar screen. Yeah, they can see that. Even they're up there in the sky. Then making the distressed vessels or life raft easy to locate. Alright, so once you use this one, the SART, or once activated, okay, it responds to the signals, radar signals. Even the aircraft can see that. Okay? Alright. So next for number 5. Alright. Number 5 is a marine evacuation system. The MES is designed to, is it A, provide a continuous supply of breathing air to the crew. B. Rapidly transfer a large number of people from the ship's deck to an inflatable life raft or platform. C. It deploy lifeboats automatically in an emergency. And D. To create a stable platform for helicopter rescue. So, is it A, B, C, or D? Let's find out. For number 5, it's letter B. Yes, it rapidly. Now, this MES is designed to rapidly transfer a large number of people. Can you remember that? From the ship's deck to an inflatable life raft or platform using the slide, right? Can you recall? Now, this MES, yes, it consists of the inflatable slide or the chute. Can you recall that? And there's a large platform, okay, on the water, okay, allowing for a very fast or a quick evacuation of large number of people, no, from the deck, ship's deck, to that inflatable or that floating platform or the life raft on the water. All right, the fastest the fastest emergency way for large people. All right, so next. So what is the primary function of a line throwing appliance on the ship? What is the primary function of a line? All right, now, is it A, to serve as a handheld signaling device? B, to secure the ship to a dock? C, to propel a line to another vessel or to shore for rescue or mooring purposes or towing purposes? And D, to launch distress flares. So, what is the purpose of that or the primary function of a line throwing appliances on a ship? Okay, let's find out. Yes, it's letter C. Okay, letter C. To propel a line to another vessel or to shore for rescue or mooring purposes. Yes, this is a line throwing appliances using or uses a projectile, okay, to carry a line, okay, over a long distance, okay, which can also be used to establish a connection, okay, a connection for rescue or other purposes like na for towing, okay, for mooring purposes, okay. That's the primary function of a line throwing appliance on a ship. All right? So for number 7, what is the signal for the ship's general emergency alarm? All right, here. So, what is the signal for the ship's general emergency alarm? A, 7 short blasts, followed by 1 long blast on the ship's whistle and siren. B, a continuous ringing of the ship's bell. All right? And C, 3 short blasts on the ship's whistle, and D, 1 long blast on the ship's whistle. Remember the general emergency alarm? So, the correct answer for that is letter A. Alright. The correct signal for a general alarm is 7 short blasts and 1 long blast. Okay? On ships, supplemented by a siren or a bell. Alright? That is the general emergency alarm. Alright, for number 8, the purpose of emergency lighting on the ship is to A, power the ship's navigational equipment, B, assist passengers in finding their way to muster stations and lifeboats during a power failure, and C, to provide additional light for routine operations, D, illuminate all areas of the ship for a long period. Is it A, B, C, or D for number 8? Okay, let's find out. Yes, the purpose of this emergency lighting on the ship really is to assist the passengers. This is very important in finding their way to muster stations because, for example, there's a power failure. No? How can you see? And if it's during nighttime, how can you see? That's why this emergency lighting on the ship is illuminated. Alright? So that you can find your way to the muster station whenever there is power failure. Alright? So, that is very crucial. This one, the emergency lighting escape. Yeah, because that is your route or routes. Like, for example, you're going down the stairwells or you're going to the muster stations. Of course, to make sure the safe and efficient evacuation during power outage. Okay? Power failure. So, this is very important during emergency cases. Alright? So, for number 9, what does EEBD stand for and what is the primary use of that? The EEBD. Alright? Is it A, emergency exit beacon device? Is it used to mark the location of an exit? Or B, emergency environmental buoyancy device used to keep a person afloat in water? C, is it an emergency engine bypass diverter? Oh, used to reroute fuel in an emergency? Or letter D, it's an emergency escape breathing device used for escaping a contaminated space like smoke or toxins. Okay? It's, of course, letter D because EEBD stands for Emergency Escape Breathing Device used for escaping a contaminated space. Okay? It is only or it provides a limited supply of air. Now, allowing the person to safely escape from a space filled with smoke or toxic fumes. Alright? You use this one. Okay, for number 10. Alright. We have here an emergency escape breathing device. Okay? What does it mean? Okay, is it A, allowing a crew member to safely escape a space containing a smoke or fumes? Okay? Or B, entering a space with a known oxygen deficiency to work for an extended period? Or C, fighting fires in enclosed spaces? And D, a long-term rescue operations? So, what is the correct answer for that? What do you mean by EEBD? It's letter A. So, you are allowing a crew member to safely escape a space containing smoke or fumes. Alright? So, it provides only, this one provides only enough air for a person, to evacuate from a dangerous area to a safer one. Alright? This is just only for a short period. Okay? Alright? So for number 11, why is a standard first aid kit considered an essential piece of equipment on a ship? Not just like on a ship, but also inside our house, inside our cabins, right? You have to have that. So why is it standard? For letter A, it is used only during routine health checks. B, it is used for treating major surgical emergencies. C, it contains all the necessary equipment to perform complex medical procedures. And letter D, it is required to be available for treating minor injuries and providing immediate medical care. So, what do you think? Why first aid is essential? It's letter D, of course. It is required to be available for treating minor, injuries. Okay, and providing immediate medical care. Why? Because that is legally required, the first aid kit. Okay? First thing, first, it is legally required piece of safety equipment. Of course, to make sure that the crew, everyone, and the passengers can receive immediate treatment. Okay, by using this one for minor injuries. Gabriel Carvajal. And stabilize more serious conditions until professional medical help is available. Alright? So, that is why first aid kit is important or essential, okay, piece of equipment on a ship. Alright? Okay. For number 12, okay. What is the correct procedure for using a line throwing appliance to connect two ships? Okay? Is it A, B, C, or D? So, what is the correct answer? What is the correct way of using the line throwing appliances in order for you to connect to two ships? Okay, it's letter A. Okay, let's find out why. A projectile is fired. All right? First. And then carrying a thin line, okay, which is then used to pull a heavier line or a hawser across. That is the correct procedure. How to use a line throwing appliance. You have to launch a rocket or a projectile that is attached to a light line or thin line. Now, which is then used as a messenger, okay, to pull a heavier or a stronger or a mooring rope between the vessels or between the two ships. Okay? That is the correct procedure how to use a line throwing appliance. Alright. Next. So, for number 13, it says here, what is the function of the emergency alarm panel? Yes. Basically, what is the function for that, of that on a ship? Is it A, to control the ship's main engine and steering? B, to monitor the ship's cargo and fuel levels? And C, to provide a backup power supply for the ship's main system? And D, to activate and monitor the ship's various emergency alarms and systems. So what is the correct answer here? The function of the emergency alarm panel is letter D. Alright, so to activate and monitor the ship's various emergency alarms and system. Now, this emergency alarm panel is excuse me, is the central point for activating and monitoring critical safety systems such as the fire alarms, right? And the general emergency alarms and other, of course, distress signals. So that is the main function of the emergency alarm panel, to activate excuse me, and monitor the ship's various emergency alarms and systems. So number 14, what is the purpose of a cargo ramp on a ro-ro ship? Excuse me. A, to allow cargo to be loaded and loaded horizontally from the vessel. B, to provide pathway for crew members to walk on deck. Letter C, to serve as a helicopter landing ramp. Alright. And D, to lower lifeboats into the water. So earlier I showed the visual aid for the cargo ramp, right? So what do you think is the purpose of that? It's letter A. The purpose of this cargo ramp is to allow, of course, the cargo to be loaded, all right, and unloaded horizontally. Horizontally, like this, from left to right, from the vessel. Okay? Now, this cargo ramp on a roll on, roll off ship allows wheeled vehicles, okay, and cargo to be driven directly and off the ship's decks, making it a highly efficient method of loading. That is the purpose of a cargo ramp. Okay? And sometimes this is used for emergency purposes also for the passengers. Alright? When in port. Alright. So, number 15. Alright. What is an orange smoke signal used for? What is that orange signal? Alright. This orange signal, okay, for letter A, is it to communicate other ships in a non-emergency situations? Is it B, to signal for help to a shore station via radio waves? Or C, to signal a distress situation to aircraft or vessels in daylight? And lastly, letter D, to provide a signal during the night, during the night, sorry. Okay. So, what is the orange smoke signal used for? A, B, C, or D? It's letter C. To distress, to signal, to send or to signal a distress situation to aircraft or vessels, remember, during daytime, right? That is a visual distress signal that produces a plume of highly visible, orange smoke, making it easy to spot from a distance, okay, by the rescue aircraft or ships during daytime. All right. So next, oh, so now next, we have here, we have discussed about um, the different equipments, right? So yeah, we have discussed about the different equipments for safety purposes. All right, while on board. So we have seven. I gave seven, yeah, signaling, seven emergency visual aids and equipments. All right, and also the special equipments used. And now we have to end our lesson here. And since we are almost done with our safety discussion, and hope you were able to extract something from what we have discussed from our previous weeks and until now. And I'm sure you were wondering or what, why I focused more of about safety, because it's really our goal, no, while we go on board, and especially to save lives, the most important thing. So, and also our lives also, right? So for now, let's end our lesson here, and I'll see you all on our 31st week. That's a week after, and I'll see you all by then, and let's continue to study the discussion. All right. So for now, bye, and have a good day, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Okay, this is again your teacher for today. I'm teacher Shelly. Okay, bye.